a lullaby.
You think that you know the story of Wizard of Oz, but you may only know part of it. The book that the movie was based on was written by L. Frank Baum and published in 1900. This film is arguably one of the most popular films ever made. Even though it was released nearly 3/4 of a century ago, the film continues to speak to audiences in a personal and powerful way. This film was notable for its use of special effects, color, unusual characters, and unique fantasy storyline. The Wizard of Oz is one of the most controversial films in American history, as there is no true, clear, and cut meaning of the film. With that being said, everyone has a different interpretation of the film and what it really means. In their telling, each character represents a person or group active in the late 1800s. First, consider the fact that anyone who actually has any real power in Oz, Dorothy and the witches, is female. And perhaps just as important, note how the men are all lacking to some degree, be they wizards without power, lions without courage, tin men without hearts, or scarecrows without brains. This may not be incidental. L. Frank Baum's mother-in-law was an influential suffragist, Matilda Joslyn Gage, a colleague of Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. And many have noted how Matilda's radical feminism made its way into Baum's Oz books. As Dorothy journeys to Oz, these three accompany her in the form of Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. Her allies along the way, they play a critical role in Dorothy's change of heart about her home back in Kansas. It is believed that Dorothy represents the American values or people. She proves to be loyal, resourceful, and determined. Another speculation was that she represented the United States President Theodore Roosevelt. The Scarecrow represents the Midwestern farmer. Political symbolism is represented through this character, as he is wise but is often affected by three uncontrollable elements: the environment, economy, and the government. A lot like everyday farmers of the 20th century, throughout the film, the Scarecrow is not only trying to find Dorothy's way back home, but trying to find himself a brain that would help him deal with these three elements. The Tin Man is a representation of industrial workers who often experience being dehumanized. The Tin Man was immobile and rusted, which is something that many factory workers felt when many businesses began to shut down due to a national depression. They felt helpless after they lost their jobs. The Cowardly Lion is the last character to join Dorothy's group. He is met in a forest where all the animals, including Dorothy, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow, fear him, except Toto. Toto discovers that he is all roar and no bite. The Cowardly Lion lacks courage and joins the group to ask the Wizard of Oz for this trait. The Cowardly Lion is believed to represent the blustery politician William Jennings Bryan. In addition, Bryan's platform promoted free silver monetary standard over the gold standard. Much like the Cowardly Lion, Bryan was known for being a coward, as he would roar for the common folk, but the Wicked Witches are to represent politicians and the corporate ruling class that often sought to control the common people. While the political symbolism of the Yellow Brick Road refers to the gold standard, Baum uses the Yellow Brick Road to represent his philosophical mindset of enlightenment and transformation of not only our society, but the beginning of the first wave feminism movement. The Wizard of Oz is the ruler of the land of Oz and lives in Emerald City. He is believed to be very powerful and able to change shape. All he really is a con man, and the Wizard of Oz is to represent President McKinley. Now that we have an understanding of what each character and symbol represent within the film, we are able to reflect on the issue of gender in the 20th century and how it plays an important role in the Oz series. With that being said, the story challenged the early 1900s societal gender roles, as the main character, Dorothy, was female. Baum's choice of female lead is as significant as most of the rulers and protagonists in this film are female. Unlike most fairy tales, Dorothy refreshingly goes out into the world to solve her own problems rather than waiting for a man to put things right. While a strong female lead is common in today's film and literature, Dorothy's role during the early 19th century was uncommon and controversial. Baum was able to offer readers a land that thrived on diversity and female rule. Under the sham rule of the so-called Wonderful Wizard, the land of Oz is filled with inept men and shows that females have the ability to be just as, if not more powerful than men. Throughout the film, you see the protagonist, Dorothy, rescuing her male companions from various situations. Dorothy diminishes the idea of patriarch for all women and is able to represent the early allegory of feminism through leadership, independence, and equality. She represents the ideology that all feminists hold through the act of love and admiration. Dorothy went against all social norms to illustrate that women are capable of all things and that early feminism will begin to lead society over the rainbow.